if you meet with like your nutritionist or your trainer for the first time and they just say like, oh, you need some protein, like question that immediately. They don't know anything about your diet, your current diet. What are your goals? Like why is that the first answer? And unfortunately, even trainers in our space are recommending that all the time.
The big question is this. In a world of fake Instagram models and fad diets, how do real people achieve their fitness goals? We are an army of hardworking women changing their lives through fitness and health. Wherever you are at on your journey, we have the answers to how to make working out and eating well a part of your life. Join us in changing the dialogue for women everywhere. Welcome to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Kelsey.
I noticed you dressed up your motos today. What do you got there? You got a little blouse there?
Don't say blouse ever again.
Sorry.
This is a shress.
A shress?
It's a shirt dress.
Oh, sure. It's so cute with the motos. I can't. I'm very jealous.
Thanks.
Nice blouse.
Oh, your age is showing.
A nice shress.
Blouse?
Who says shress? I've never heard that in my life.
Well, I made it up, I think.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Shress becomes a thing now.
Yeah. Start saying it every time you wear a shirt dress. It's a shress.
Well, I like it with those motos anyways.
So as we start to get into our episode today, it's a pretty controversial subject. So we are going to laugh about it a little bit because we talk about it a lot here at CVG. We talk about it a lot within the health and fitness community. It's a hot topic for sure, but we're going to hit on supplements.
You know what? I wanted to do this episode as like the very first episode because to me, this is one of the most commonly asked questions for us as coaches and just like in general, people wanting to embark on their health and fitness journey. And the first thing they say is, what supplements do I need? I want to start living a healthier life. I want to lose fat. I want to, whatever their goals are, build muscle. They have this preemptive notion that before any of that can happen, that they need to hit up GNC. Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the reasons why we've held off on this topic, despite being so passionate about it, is because it is so controversial, which is weird to me.
That's very weird. I mean, it's weird that it is controversial because there is a lot of information and a lot of just solid science behind this that it wouldn't seem like some of these points would be controversial, but it really is.
Yeah. And when you have a multi-billion-dollar industry pushing something.
Now we know why it's controversial.
They can create an environment in which facts don't matter. And no, really.
Yeah.
And that people stop sort of using their logic and say, because the advertising dollars are so big and they're being bombarded on so many levels with that supplementation is an imperative part of health and fitness. And if you want to be super fit and you want to be really healthy, that you absolutely have to be on supplements. And that, I'm going to be honest, that makes me mad.
Yeah.
I get mad.
I get mad that when you start just talking about health and fitness and how we can improve our everyday lifestyle, that supplements have worked their way into that discussion in the first day. Like that, I think that's what makes me the most mad because I'm like, we're not there.
You know what makes me the most mad? When people are told to buy things that are stupid. That's what makes me waste their money. I really hate when people are told to waste their money and it's like backed with all this like instant gratification. The supplements, they will go to no ends to trick consumers. That's what I hate the most.
There it is. Yeah.
Tricking consumers. Lose fat 4 times as fast. burn twice as many calories. Like that tricking, like people who are 100% committed to improving themselves and want it so badly, and taking them as a vulnerable person that's saying like, I really want to better my life, and tricking them, that makes me want to punch someone in the face. Too much?
No, no. I was like, oh,
Too much.
she's going there. She's
Oh
gonna
boy.
go resorting to violence. No,
Oh,
no, I totally. You know what? This is one of those times where like Rachel gets aggressive, and I'm totally backing. I'm gonna back you up on that one. So I
oh
don't
my
know if
God,
we
you
should have.
never back up me
I
on
know
my
we should
aggression.
have brought in maybe a guest that could like reel it in, but I don't think it's
Nah, fuck
necessary.
that.
Fuck that. I don't think it's necessary at this point because I think that these are people that are looking for answers and they're willing to make the changes and they're willing to invest in themselves. And I think that's where it's the most disheartening is that they're saying, like, what do I need to do? Just tell me what I need to do. And they're getting this information. They're saying, like, I'm willing to invest in my health. And you're telling me that this is what I need. Okay, I'll go do that. I'll go buy that. And then they've wasted time, energy, and resources to something that is not going to move them closer to their goals.
And you know what is the other thing too is when they spend this time and money and resources, like you said, on these supplements, and they don't see the results that the supplements promise, the 4 times fat loss, the metabolism boost times 100, like whatever, when they don't see those, people start to think that they're
It's
the
them.
problem. Like it's me, and then all the self-blame happens. And we talked about this with the diet episode, which if you haven't listened to that, that's a definite precursor to this episode. It's a good one. But if you know, the turning it on yourself and saying, well, the supplements told me that I should be able to make this amazing progress in half the time, and I'm not. So it's my fault. I suck and I'm giving up.
And I think that they see it's worked for others. So it's worked for all of these people. It worked for my Fitspo. It worked for the people that I'm trying to aspire to kind of be like or achieve those goals. It worked for them and it's not working for me, so it must be my fault. And I think just I was going to get into this a little bit later.
No,
but
let's bust this up
let's
now.
bust this up right
I
now.
want to bust this up right now.
So these supplement companies, multi-billion-dollar companies we talked about, are constantly endorsing your some of your idols, right? They're going to these Fitspo inspirations and saying, "Hey, say you take our supplements and tell all of your followers that are invested in your journey and that you're guiding towards health and fitness, and tell them you take this supplement and it's helped you get whatever gains that you've made, and it's going to help them too."
Don't believe us? Ask Kelsey.
Yeah.
Kelsey has a following and she is in the category of health and fitness. She's a coach. She's, a programmer for TTSL, runs a massive Facebook group of women who are trying to be fitter, healthier. And how many times are you approached by supplement companies? Let's just say on a weekly basis.
On a weekly basis, honestly, guys, they're in my inbox all the time. Some of them, through Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, they're constantly in my inbox saying, "Hey, say you take this supplement or this wrap or whatever is the new hot like pill, pre-workout, whatever." They don't care if I take it or not. They literally don't care.
Let that sink in for a second. These supplement companies do not at all want Kelsey to actually take their product. They want to take her hard work, her results, and her followers and trick them into thinking she does take it, or that's how she got looking like she does, or as fit as she is, or as healthy as she is. They don't even care that she takes it. It's not about
It's irrelevant to them. Yeah, it's totally irrelevant, which is for someone who has put in all of the hard work and has a moral compass, that's infuriating that you're gonna pop in.
Oh,
here.
you getting mad?
Oh, getting mad.
Kelsey never gets mad.
You're gonna pop in after all the hard work is done and then equate that to some wrap or some pill or some pre-workout when you weren't there during the struggle.
And not only that, but you're going to use my followers or people that are inspired by me or trust me with their health and wellness, and you're going to trick them, and you want me to help you. And now Kelsey has multiple messages in her inbox every single week from these supplement companies. Now, if you went ahead and said like, well, screw it, I'm in this for making money.
I need some
How
money.
much money do you think you could make saying you take X, Y, and Z?
Mm-hmm.
So how
And
many of
they
those Fitspos are taking the money is
exactly,
what I'm asking.
but they're also taking the publicity, the sharing from it. So not only do these supplement companies contact you and say, "Hey, take this, tell your followers, whatever," they say, "We'll put you on our page as one of our successes and you're going to get double the followers." So you see these, these Instagram models, these Instagram Fitspos, whatever it is, and they have these massive followings and you're like, how did that happen? Do you get into bed with these big companies and they put you out there and then you're both gaining, right? So like not only did they benefit from, this fit person saying it takes their supplements, but they can use all of their stuff all over their while they're promoting their product with a person who may not even take their supplements.
But you know who's the only party that's not benefiting in this scenario? Because we know supplement companies are doing awesome. We know that these Fitsto people are making money off of this. But you know who's not benefiting? The thousands, the hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
of people who are seeing those things and taking it as the truth.
The Americans that spend over $30 billion a year on supplements.
That is
A year.
wow. When you think about that number, $30 billion a year being spent on things that are being falsely marketed and with these outrageous claims, and you think about that compared to the amount of people who say that they're not happy with their health and wellness, okay, so we're spending $30 billion a year on supplements that say they're going to get us to where we want to be. But then you poll people, and 84% of people say they are not happy with their body image or their current health. So how does that add up? If everybody's buying supplements, but nobody's happy with the results.
Yeah. But wait, how good is that marketing?
That's some crazy marketing.
And that's just some crazy lies being spread everywhere, at the expense of willing ears and people that are looking for answers.
Listen, I went, when I started my fitness journey a long time ago, I absolutely first went to GNC. I bought myself the pre-workout that everyone was talking about at that time, which has since been taken off the market. I mean, I don't even want to get into what potential damage that did to my body, but I did it. I took what did I take?
I remember Mark saying it
Explode or
earlier.
something.
Yeah, it was
Something that was going to explode my muscles. My muscles are going to explode, and I'm going to get a pump. I'm going to get, and then it was this like, I took it, and then I felt my heart was beating out of my chest, and then like I was supposed to get a better workout from that, and I've been there. I've done these things, and I hear why people do them, because you just are thinking to yourself, I'm making this commitment. I want to get the max out of it that I can. I'm making this commitment to go to the gym. I'm putting all these other things aside. And so if I can get a little edge while I'm there, a little extra energy, or this formula that's supposed to really boost the blood going to my muscles so they can do more and work out longer and harder and whatever. Like if I can get that edge, I want to take it, because like all I'm trying to do is just maximize my time. And that is why the supplement companies can thrive, because people are always just looking for, how can I really maximize what I'm doing here? And if I had taken all of my time and energy and focused it in the right areas, I could have been getting all of those benefits and more without taking ingredients that have since been deemed unsafe for human consumption.
You know what though? That was such an important part of like your journey and how you let us, hear and like that you can talk to people who are started out their fitness journey and their first stop was GNC, or their first stop was, now like Googling online, like where to get the supplements or which ones to take. Or we get this question in the group all the time that people are starting out, they're wondering which ones to take. And I think the most important thing for our listeners is that the this learning curve has already been done. So you don't have to. Good news.
Good news. You don't
Good
have to
news.
fill your body with a bunch of shitty chemicals because I already did. You're welcome.
We figured it out already and can, like I think sometimes, and I've talked about this when we talked about diets, was forgetting what we've done. Forgetting, like, kind of trying to like reinvent the wheel almost, and forgetting like what has worked, what hasn't worked for you, what have you learned?
The lack of good information, being bombarded by all of the bad, the confusing, the marketing, the people are making money off of it. It's like, it's the voices are so small that are here saying like, well, wait.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important that we also hit on that despite what your goals are in the gym and with fitness, there's always another way. So like if you're trying to lose fat, if you're trying to gain muscle, if you're just trying to have an increased amount of energy, if you're just trying to get that little bit of an edge in the gym where you're like, my gym sessions are good, but I want them to be great. We're speaking to all of you, all people who are embarking. It doesn't matter what level you're at. It doesn't matter how much fat you have to lose. It doesn't matter, how quality your gym sessions are now. The fact is that if you are looking at supplements, we need to first. Now, I'm not saying all supplements are bad because there are definitely supplements that are beneficial and needed for some people. But we need to get some ducks in a row before we look at supplementation, because let's think about the word supplementation, right?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go with that, is that supplements are there to supplement your diet, not to replace. So when you start to hear meal replacement shakes, that is an immediate red flag.
Red flag. Why are you replacing a meal with anything that isn't a meal? Right? I mean, a supplement is to accompany your already great nutrition. It's to fill gaps that you can't fill with nutrition. So when something says it's a meal replacement, your red flag should automatically be going off because nothing should replace real food. And if it's claiming to replace real food, it's not doing it as effectively as food is.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about getting all your ducks in a row before looking at supplementation, what we're looking at is we're saying, okay, we want to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to maximize our health and fitness without needing any supplementation. And then if we in turn decide that all of those things are happening and then we still see gaps, then we can begin to look at supplementation. But before, so instead of, okay, I'm going to start my fitness journey, I'm going to first order a supplement. Instead of that, let's think about it in this way. You want to start your health and fitness journey. The first thing you need to do is go to the grocery store.
Mm.
So we need to look at what we're eating as the way to gain the things that we're requiring. So, you've heard a lot about people saying protein is extremely important in muscle building, muscle recovery, the metabolism of holding on to muscle. You want to have ample amounts of protein in your body. Yes, true. However, why supplement without having looked at your actual protein intake first via food?
Yeah, I think that, and I know we're going to do an entire episode just on protein, so stay tuned for that. But I think that has been one of the biggest marketing ploys, is telling people, if you're working out, you need protein. You need to up your protein, without looking at how much protein a person is even taking in. You're under the impression that you already need to up it. You don't even know how much you're consuming right now, in what other ways you could get more protein if that's what you needed, but you don't even know if you need it or not.
But that's the thing with that one size, and you always say this about the car, how are you going to diagnose a problem with your car without ever looking under the hood? Saying to someone that because they're going to start working out, they need to immediately up their protein is like, you haven't even run any diagnostics. We're just filling your car with oil without knowing if it even needs oil.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that sense is just absolutely ridiculous to me.
Yeah,
that you
just
would
blindly filling you don't even know if there's holes. So like you're filling a hole that you don't even know if it's there or not. And so if you meet with like your nutritionist or your trainer for the first time and they just say like, "Oh, you need some protein." Like question that immediately. They don't know anything about your diet, your current diet. What are your goals? Like why is that the first answer? And unfortunately, even trainers in our space are recommending that
Yeah.
all the time. And
Yeah.
it's and I'm like, "Oh man, like you're not a bad when it comes to mechanics, movement, things like that." I've seen other trainers working. I'm like, "You're not a bad trainer. Why are you going there? Do you just not understand complete nutrition? You don't have time to ask these questions." You need to have time to ask these questions. They're very important. Um, yeah, and you don't just start overloading something that you don't even know is a deficiency yet.
Right. There, you have to know so many things about an athlete before you can even touch what they should be taking in or what they should not be taking in. I mean, you have to know a lot of factors. So, telling someone to up their protein without even knowing a single thing about them, red flag. Okay, so when we look at eating nutritious, nutrient dense food, what we're looking at is a full range of all of the nutrients that you should be taking in a day, and then trying to make sure that your food sources represent that. So we know, that protein is beneficial. So like, let's look at, protein sources from food. We know that carbohydrates are essential to energy levels and being able to have productive workouts. So let's look at the kinds of carbohydrates that you're taking in. We know that fatty acids are essential to recovery. So instead of just jumping on a bandwagon of taking BCAAs, let's look at, having a piece of salmon for dinner. Because before you supplement, you need to make sure again that your nutrition is on track. And not only that, but I mean, before you supplement anything, we need to very much look at what your training looks like too. We need to make sure that you're hitting the gym enough times a week, right? I mean, we ideally would like to see people training from 3 to 5 days a week, depending on their goals. We need to make sure that their training sessions are productive, that you're working out at a high intensity, that you are making the most out of your gym sessions, that you're not isolating muscles and wasting time, right? And then, like, once you get like your training, your nutrition, then we need to even start dialing in more and looking at things like your sleep. Before you add recovery aids, how about the most essential way that your body knows how to recover? There's no supplement in the world that can even touch the recovery that sleep provides.
Just think about that. Like you're recovering.
So when we talk to people and we say, they don't, oh, I don't feel like I'm recovering that well. I feel sore for like way too many days after. And, my energy levels are real low. I totally hear you. That is a really, really common thing. And the thought is, well, I have this hole, and so I'll fill it with these recovery aids without looking at how much sleep you're getting a night. So, like, if you're getting 5 hours of sleep and you feel tired before your workout, you don't need a pre workout. You need more sleep, straight up. Looking at those baseline things. And believe me, I get it. Like, is sleep the most sought after? I mean, like
Most people.
I know because well, when we were prepping this episode, we were saying like we definitely want to hit on the sleep, and I was saying like not a lot of people can sleep 8 hours a night. Like I'm a mom of a 2 year old. I know it's hard to sleep 8 hours a night. It is. But thinking that like drinking 3 coffees throughout the day is going to supplement that problem for me, and you were saying before too, that when you supplement instead of addressing the real problem, it's sort of like a false, like that. Like instead of sleeping more during the night, I'm taking in 3 cups of coffee to like make up for the fact that I can't sleep, but it's not real energy that I'm getting.
Oh yeah, and it's a complete ripple effect too. We know, like this isn't my opinion, is that caffeine consumed after 12 p.m. during the day is going to affect your sleep performance at night. Now, I hear a lot of people who say, "I could drink a cup of coffee and go to sleep." I'm not arguing that. We know your sleep performance is not as good as if you didn't have that cup of coffee. So
Right, your
even
deep
if it
sleep,
yeah,
right.
so even if you aren't staying up all night, you're not getting the sleep quality, which is in turn going to make you tired and feeling foggy the following day. And you're saying like, but when you look at it, you're like, well, I got 6 to 8 hours of sleep, and because you're a lucky person today, and I'm not understanding, like, I still need this coffee, or I still need this pre-workout, which is a big one, is I still need this and I'm getting this much sleep. And it's like, we need to fine tune a little bit. We need to look at what your sleep quality is actually looking like, and what other contributing factors are contributing to your lack of sleep or lack of deep sleep, REM, whatever it is that you're isn't allowing your body to recover. So once you get this like false sense of recovery and energy, you're living in this fog.
It is like a fog. It
Yeah.
is. Because I've noticed since there was a time where no one woke me up in the middle of the
There was
night.
a time you got sleep.
Yes, I can get 5 hours of sleep, have 2 cups of coffee, and function, but, like, not at my best. And so thinking that, like, I'm tricking my body by taking in caffeine or pre-workout to get a better workout when I'm actually just extremely sleep deprived, I'm not solving the problem, I'm putting a Band-Aid on a bleeding jugular.
And I think stress levels, just being an outsider here, I think stress level, not, I think this isn't my opinion. Stress levels absolutely play a factor into this. So, into how well you're sleeping, how well you're functioning during the day, because your body is experiencing increased stress, and therefore it is more tired. So, like for me, I know that I recognize the fog only because I remember being in there with no children, with just a very stressful job, and my nutrition was very poor. I was like always, and I think a lot of our listeners were probably are there right now or have been there, where your my calories were super low. So I was always kind of feeling this void with my cream and sugar extra extra, two of them in the afternoon. My
Duncan.
coffees Dunkin'. I would make sure I stopped there before my nighttime shift, which was kind of odd hours because I was working like a 2 to 11 shift, and then you're up until like 12:30, and then you try and wake up and go to the gym the next day. And I would need to like wake up and kind of like ramp up because I had to get the gym in during that time. Now this was a result of an unhealthy lifestyle for me. Now, did I fog that over with something to get me going, whether it was some like poor nutrition, some pre-workout, whatever it was, it gave me this like false sense of energy that I could like make it through this next thing. But it was always this fog. And my body wasn't learning how to make its own energy. And I think this is so important when we get into our an entire episode, maybe two, about nutrition, because people, who have heard me on the podcast, see my lives, whatever, they're like, oh my God, how do you have so much energy? Like, you want crack? Like, what is
Yeah.
going on? Do you take pre-workout? Nope, don't take any pre-workout. I've been doing this long enough so that my body genuinely makes this amount of energy because it's had to.
On its own.
Yes, that takes some time.
But it takes some time, and I think that's one of the most important things is I know that it's sort of an instant gratification, and that's why these supplements do so well too, because, they promise results yesterday and they give
And they fail tomorrow.
well, of course, but the fact is everybody wants it now. And the thought of really dialing in your nutrition, really committing to 4 to 5 days of intense training every week, really thinking about your sleep, your stress levels, how much water you're drinking in the day, and doing that for like 8 weeks and saying, like, I'm making a commitment to this in the long term. That's for a lot of people, it's just not as sexy. It's not as sexy as burn twice the calories right now. When you really think about all of the things that you need to get together and all of the time that it takes, because it's not just sleeping 8 hours a night for 2 nights in a row is not going to reset and get you recovering better. Like, these are things that need to be done consistently. Just like we always say, one healthy meal doesn't give you abs and one unhealthy meal doesn't, put you off the wagon. These things need to be done consistently. And so that's hard for a lot of people. It's hard to think about like being in the long run and saying, well, I have this thing over here that's saying it can do it right now. But when we look at it,
It's hard to ignore.
It's hard to ignore. But when you look at the overall results, 84% of people say they're not happy with their health and nutrition in their body. And we're spending $30 billion a year on supplements. So something's not adding up here. We're buying the things that say that they're going to do the thing they're doing, but then they're not doing it. So I know it seems sexy and it seems like a right now approach and it's going to get you what you want now. But the fact is it doesn't work. These supplements do not work. Not only do they not work, but they, in many cases, can be dangerous. So, I mean, risk reward, right?
Yeah. And I think just touching quickly upon the danger of them, not our opinion at all. They're not FDA approved.
Did you know that? I did not know this.
You didn't?
Before, no, I did not know this before I started doing more research into supplements. I didn't know that supplements did not have to go. Not saying the FDA is the be all end all or something, but the fact is that they have no regulation was like, whoa. So anybody can put out anything?
Yep.
That's blowing my mind.
And they don't have to label everything that they're putting in it. Like how, right?
I mean, no, like
they don't even have to. Like they don't even have to tell you everything that's going into the supplement that you're about to put in your body.
Like a can of lima beans can't even get away with that. You can't even. No, I'm saying you can't even sell a bag of frozen spinach at the grocery store without listing every single ingredient. That's what consumers expect. So to think that these supplements can put out these products,
whatever they want,
a
ton of supplements have been shown, I can't remember the exact number, have had prescription drugs found in them, and less than half were recalled. That found prescription drugs put in supplements, less than half were recalled. That's crazy.
That's crazy. And we don't know. And that's the thing is like, they'll list the ingredient lists and you can look at them and you can say like, okay, I feel comfortable with these ingredients, but they don't even have to put in all of the ingredients. So you could read one and you could say, well, I feel comfortable with these things. I'm okay taking this into my body, but there might be things that are not on that ingredients label that are in the supplement. And how scary, I mean, not to sound like super hippie or something, but how scary to like be putting things in your body that you don't know. You're just trusting the supplement company. And let me tell you, they can't be trusted. And this isn't my opinion. This is a fact because there have been thousands of supplements recalled, taken off the market because they have been found to be extremely unsafe. Yeah. So I'm sorry, you want me to trust you, but your history and your background is that you've tried to put poison in my body before.
You don't trust people that have tried to put poison in your body before?
Not typically.
To make a quick dime. I mean, like that's, but the problem with a lot of those too, and this is why this industry continues to thrive, like the diets. I mean, they're in the exact same category, but like the diets, they can change one small ingredient, make a chemical adjustment to something that they're putting in. They don't, a lot of times, guys, they don't even rebrand. They just call it like a plus. Keep something that's been recalled. And then they're like, plus.
Oh, wait. And it's exhausting because like you work an 8-hour a day job. You have, these demands on your time. You have to get to the gym. Like you don't have time to sit there and Google what supplements are good for you. It's exhausting. And that's why people are forced to rely on the big letters on the label. 2 times the fat loss. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds what I want. I'm currently trying to lose fat. So that sounds like it's for me. Let's put it this way. If it takes a really lot of time to research if it's safe, maybe
not worth the
Maybe
damn
not
time
worth.
or the money. And I think we really need to challenge as a community to challenge our trainers and to challenge the information that we're being fed. Like, challenge it right back. Like, if your trainer
Prove
tells
it
you,
to me.
yeah, prove it to me. If your trainer says to you, well, you really need to have this supplement. Why?
Why? Prove it to me. I want you to show me somewhere in my performance or in my health that you feel I'm lacking this blank.
And how it aligns with your goals. Because I think that the majority of American or the majority of people, let's go with women, the majority of women, we're going to the gym to achieve some fat loss, right? Like that's the reason why the majority of people are getting to the gym. Now, the side effect of increased energy, feeling better, your overall well-being, your increased health, I mean, those are all side effects, right? Whatever. No, but like the majority of people are looking for fat loss. So if your goal is fat loss, listen up very carefully because I'm not even going to sugarcoat this one. If your goal is fat loss, you do not need to take a supplement. You don't. You need to look at your diet and you need to look at your training. You need to look at your overall health. Your supplement is not going to improve your fat loss right now.
So instead of supplements being the first thing that we look to, they need to be the last. And I think that that is really, really important, that if you have these goals of fat loss or muscle building or increase energy, whatever you're going to the gym for, supplements need to be the last thing on your list after looking at every single thing else in your life that you can improve and really hone in on. And then,
That's when you're refining the small pieces. That's not the big, that's not the overall, like when you're looking for fat loss, we're going to supplements. It's like, no, when we're starting to like really dial in like this tiny nuances that are gonna, if you're a professional athlete, it might make a difference in your performance here or there, then like we're not talking to that population right now. That 1%, sorry, we're leaving you out. We're talking about general population people that are looking to go to the gym to live a healthier life and for fat loss. It's not in supplements, it's
it's
in the
not.
food. It's in
It's
the
in the food.
food and your quality of sessions.
If a supplement is out there saying that it can do all the things that food does, but it's saying in addition that it might have some adverse effects when it's doing that, and you can just get it through food, you know what I
And
mean?
then some through food though.
And
Like,
then some.
we can't simulate all of the nutrients that you get from food. I mean, we can say like, oh, this we're going to have this protein, but if you look at like meat and all of the other vitamins and nutrients you get from that piece of meat, I
It's
mean,
not in a
sorry
shake.
yeah, it's not in the shake because they're not going to add all of those small things, and we don't even know, like all the like, sorry science, like you don't know all of the benefits that our human bodies are getting from the food that we're intaking. So like we can't, all of those other small vitamins and minerals that you're getting from food, you're not simulating with your shake, and then you're missing out. So now you are deficient.
So, and the other thing that I think is really important, and this is agreed on across the board, is that the way that your body absorbs nutrients is far superior from food than from supplements. And that's why they're called supplements, because your body will absorb, for example, omega 3s much better from a piece of fish than it will from a fish oil caplet. The thought of, supplementing something that we could be getting in a much more effective way and our body could be absorbing much more effectively, we need to just look at the baseline first. I know that a lot of people, they hear these things and they say, how in the heck am I going to have the time? Like, I get it. Everybody is so busy, and we have all of these responsibilities and all these things pulling at us. And we often say, I don't have time. I don't have time to sleep 8 hours a night. I just can't do it. But the fact is that if you don't make a commitment to doing these things now, your body will force you at some point to do these things. So whether that is getting sick, and forcing you to be out, or whether that is getting injured in the gym. A lot of people equate injury to like doing the wrong movements or, improper form. And I would argue that so many injuries are a result of lack of sleep and poor nutrition. Like your body will find a way.
Or sitting all day.
It was or sitting all day. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because your body will find a way to tell you the things you are doing are moving in the wrong direction. So if you say now, I do not have time to meditate, I do not have time to turn off the screens, I don't have time to sleep 8 hours a night, there will be a time when your body doesn't give you an option. It will say, oh, you are going to, or you are going to slip into sickness. And so, I know it's hard. I have a small child. I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own business. Like, believe me, like I get the struggles, but I know that if I do not make the time for myself, I will not be able to contribute anything to anybody because I will be down for the count. So
And if you try and mask what your body is telling you, so if your body is feeling very tired or is not getting the proper nutrition that it needs and is telling you that in many ways, if you try and mask it by giving a pre-workout, you're not listening.
So that's what I
Yeah.
mean about the injury. You know what I'm saying? Like going into the gym tired and then like falsely having this like sense of like,
I just wanted to make it clear that like this is you trying to trick your body
yeah,
by telling it
the
like,
pre-workout is a trick.
yeah.
It's your body saying I'm tired and you're saying, no, you're not, go train at a high intensity. And it's like, what we want to do is work with our body. It's not two separate things. It's not us working against our body to get rid of all that fat. It's working with our body to be the best it can possibly be. And part of working with it is listening to it. So if it's saying it's tired every day at 4 o'clock, instead of masking that with a coffee, how about looking at some nutrient dense food that you can eat for lunch that will allow you to have more energy at 4 o'clock? Or
So I did want to say this too with one of the clients that I had been working with. She was feeling really, really tired in the afternoon every day at this specific time, and she needed a nap. Like I'm not just saying like, oh, you're at your desk, like I'm feeling like. No, she was napping every day at this time. She was going to the doctors that like they were testing her for like narcolepsy. Like she was so tired. And honestly, and they were like looking at her sleep, all those kinds of things. And honestly, when we adjusted her diet, she's not needed an absence. There were things in her diet that were bogging her down so much that her body was physically responding by saying like, I need to shut down. And then, we eliminate those things or we adjust in ways that you're getting the nutrients that your body actually needs. And all of a sudden, those energies start to fill up. You start to get a little bit higher and start to feel like, oh, maybe I don't need a nap at this time every day. And maybe I'm not working against my body. Maybe I need to give it the nutrients that it actually needs. But imagine if you just take a pre-workout at that time. You
I
never find what's hurting, like what is calling out, saying like you're making me tired. I'm allergic to this.
I'm so that's first of all, that blows me away, and secondly, it just goes along with what we are always preaching and what seems to be like the anti of what many people in the health and fitness industry are preaching, like the working against your body. But like what we're trying to ask people to do is to in fact trust their body, that like your body is a perfect running machine. It is designed to give you maximum energy output, to lift heavy things, to run far, to jump, to like do anything in your life that you want to do. Your body's designed to do it. All it's asking is for the proper conditions in order to maximize these things. So like, yeah, you can still get a great workout in with a false sense of caffeine, but like eventually the bottom is going to fall out on that.
Mm-hmm.
And so like instead of like saying my body sucks and it needs all these things, my body is not processing things right, so I'm going to falsely put this thing in, but instead like trusting your body, loving it, and saying like it knows what it needs. And if I just help provide those things in like a really good environment, if I give it the sleep, if I don't put it last.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Everybody's
Mhm.
always putting their body last and saying like, well, I'd rather buy a sheet than make a nutritious meal because I don't have the time.
Yeah.
Or I'd rather just have a coffee than get a good 8 hours night sleep because I don't have the time. Like, if we at any point would put ourselves first and our health first, we would realize that like you'd be so much more productive throughout the day with 8 hours sleep. You think, like you thought, like with your training, like if I could just get another training session in, I'd be fitter and I'll sacrifice sleep for that. But it is not true.
No. And I think something that I learned in school with social work is that we talked about one time writing prescriptions, and like if a village is sick, you can write a ton of prescriptions for everyone, or you can go down and look at the well and see the well that they're drinking from and what is actually making us sick. So instead of saying like I'm tired, I'm going to take a pre-workout, look at why. Like just take a walk down. You don't have to write 15,000 prescriptions. You could just take a walk down to the well and look at the water and what's making it sick. Everyone's sick once. Look at what's
So
making your body tired.
So the answer then is something that we're in control over. And the answer isn't a supplement company that tells us that we can burn twice the fat. The answer isn't a pre workout that tells us we can have 4 times the better workout. The answer is within your own body. It tells you what it needs. It just requires, some nutrient dense food, some sleep, some water,
Mhm.
and your training sessions, will be so incredibly productive. And at that point, I think is when is when I started realizing the supplements were the bog. They
Mhm.
were what was bogging me down. They were the fog in my day. They were the false sense of fitness. And when I realized that, when I really dialed in, I've never felt as good
So
as, you
clear,
know what I mean?
right?
Like
Yeah.
all the products in the world. So if you have money to spend it at the grocery store,
Mhm.
spend it on a gym membership, spend it in the places that matter, because these supplement companies taking your money and telling you what you need, they don't know you.
They don't know
They
you.
don't know you,
But
girl.
have been brilliant with their marketing, haven't they? Like they have just it's worked their way into so many different things because they say like, oh, you need a snack, here is a bar. We filled it with protein. I mean, it has just as much sugar as a candy bar, right? But it's a protein bar now. And I'm like, oh my God, people are just they're looking for a snack and they're saying, like, I'm trying to listen to my body, I'm hungry, I'm gonna go work out. Like, what am I gonna take in now? You're fooling me with a not candy bar wrapper and putting a candy bar in it. Why?
It's some marketing that is behind $1 billion industry,
Yeah, yeah,
obviously.
$30 billion
30 billion
a
industry.
year.
So a year.
Yeah, so we can't even call it
So,
that.
I mean, you have to expect that they're going to be good, but we're going to be better. And
Yeah,
we're going
I
to
love that.
really educate ourselves, and they're going to keep on pushing. And we are going to keep on asking our body what it needs, when it needs it, and really educating ourselves and always questioning why. You want to sell me a pre workout? Tell me why, and list all your damn ingredients
I
too,
know,
because like
rude.
you want to not only tell me why I need this, but also tell me what's in it, exactly what's in it. And then you can make your own decisions. And listen, if you decide that you have everything together and you decide that there are some supplements that you're seeing benefits from, girl, hey,
Mhm.
keep on keeping on. Okay. But if you're just starting out your fitness journey and you're looking for, what's the answer, you have the answer. You've got it. It's in there. Just listen to your body, work with it, and give it all of the great things that it requires. And then you won't need to supplement a single thing. When I have to supplement, I feel like I failed.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like if I have to supplement caffeine, I feel like I failed my body in
Mhm.
its night's sleep.
Mhm.
Like if I have
And
to,
caffeine is the least of our worries at this
no, I mean, for sure. But I'm saying, like,
because you're looking at a ton of people who are trying to overcome years of poor eating choices, addictions to sugar, and then we're seeing supplement companies add all of this sugar and make it taste like birthday cake and putting it in a shake to people who are trying to kick these cravings. It's
But
like,
that's for different
oh
episodes.
yeah, yeah.
Come on now.
Different episode. Different episode.
We
I just
have
find it rude.
I
Birthday cake trying to taste like chicken.
if it sounds like birthday cake, it probably is. If it tastes like chocolate cake, you should question that. No, but that's for a different episode. We definitely want to get into that. But for now, really, really focus on you and what you can do to maximize your health without needing any outside sources. And if you can do that for a consistent amount of time, I so promise you, I've been there. I so promise you, like, the fog will lift
Mm.
and like you will realize this is what I did. I realized like what a poor place I was in. I didn't realize when I was in it because like you don't
Oh,
almost
me neither.
you don't know how good you're designed to feel until you feel that good because you just get used to whatever.
That's honestly so true because I thought I was doing all of the right things when I was in the fog. I was going to the gym 5 days a week. I was, having some shakes, doing the things that I thought I was eating turkey bacon. Seemed like the right thing to do at the time. Now it's
Turkey
just real bacon.
bacon.
I was doing all of the right things and I was living in this fog and I didn't know. I didn't know about that fog. I didn't know how great my body could feel and how energetic. And I didn't even know the full me yet.
Yeah, you're just like, you get to be thinking that like, this is just how it is. I guess I just don't have any energy. A lot of people, like I always chalk it up to aging. Like, oh, I guess I'm just getting old. And it's not that. It's not, I'm telling you, if you really dial into those things that we are talking about here, I'm telling you, you can absolutely begin to feel the way you were meant to feel.
Thank you so much for listening to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. If you'd like to join our movement, head over to the Facebook group and take part in our free weekly workouts for a chance to win some badass gear. Search Fitness Programming by CVG on Facebook. We're in there every day. It's a perfect place to get in touch with us. This podcast is made possible by Constantly Varied Gear, so be sure to check out constantlyvariedgear.com. See you next week. Crush your goals.